Hi, this is Kelly with Kelly Fasterling with eXp Realty. And I am honored today to be with Jana May. Jana, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Jana was the broker owner of Simply Real Estate up there in Billings, Montana.
Mhm.
She is a wife and a mom of three amazing boys, and she uses real estate as that platform to balance the creation of income and just having a huge presence and huge time in her family's life. But that's not, Jana, where you started. You didn't start in real estate.
Nope.
You started, yeah, with a degree in psychology and doing some social work, and
Mhm.
then into the restaurant business, and then into real estate. So talk to me about some of those early ventures for you and what you did.
Yeah, I graduated college in 2002 and with a psychology degree, and just wasn't ready to go back and get my master's or anything like that quite yet. I wanted a year or two off. Ended up meeting my husband, or I had already met him, but ended up deciding that we were getting married. Um,
Right.
and so just worked in my field for, 4 or 5 years. Um, and then we got married and had our first kid together, and realized pretty quickly that social work just wasn't gonna, it wasn't worth it for me to stay to work and put my kid in daycare. So I got to stay home for a year and a half exclusively with my first kiddo. And
Nice.
then I had worked at a restaurant called CJ's here in town since I was 19, all through college, and kept it all the way through until I got to stay home. So I went back to work for them so that my husband and I could flip flop, and I could just primarily stay home with our kids. And then we ended up having another one, and life just got to be life, and it just got to be normal. And then in 2015, I guess it was, maybe 14, my husband says to me, "Well, what do you think about real estate?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. It sounds like fun." But, because the kids were getting older and they were going to go into school, and
Right.
so I wanted to do something, I guess, be actively in the workforce again, and not just,
Mm.
working nights is great, but I couldn't put the boys to bed every night. And, I felt like I was missing out on certain things that I wanted to do. And since they were in school all day, why shouldn't I work during the day versus at night? Although we all know we work sometimes at night too.
Exactly, exactly. Unless it's dark out and nobody wants to see the house in the dark.
Right, exactly. So winter's maybe not quite as late.
Exactly, exactly. So that transition into real estate,
Mhm.
what did it provide you very specifically in terms of balancing your time with your family and your ability to create some of that extra income?
Well, everything. I mean, at the time, our 20-year-old was very heavily involved in sports and traveled a lot.
Right.
So part of the goal, and my husband's self-employed as well. He owns a recruiting company. And so part of
Mhm.
the goal was to be able to travel with him and be at every game, um, and allow, ourselves, my husband calls it life by design. So
Exactly.
not be tied to somebody else's schedule. And so specifically, it allowed me to have all those moments and never miss a moment. And I can schedule my own schedule whenever. It also gave us some extra income that I wasn't getting from just waiting tables a few nights a week, or bartending. And so
Right.
it gave us a little more financial freedom, but allowed
Right.
us to be and do what we wanted to do when we needed to be there as parents and support our kids. So, and
Right.
then having two more, now our two littles are very much involved in sports, and now we're going three directions instead of one. And it's even more important that we both can do that. So it just means the world to me. And I can't imagine doing anything else.
That life by design, that's a very good phrase, a good term. And really, what most of us strive for is how do we create exactly what it is we want and get that work life balance in the
Right.
way we want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to provide the ability to have that work life, that to do those things. I mean, because there's a lot
Right.
of people that their kids are very involved in that stuff, and they can't financially do it either, and so we're lucky that we can do both, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah. Now, your background in psychology and social work, your
mhm.
background in the restaurant business, how did those play into creating a real solid skill set as a realtor?
Well, I don't know if I even figured myself out, but psychology, there's always there's always a good I think it always helps to just be able to try and be patient and understand people, because every person you come across is different. Likewise, I would say that working in the service industry, restaurant for 17 years, you never know who you're going to walk up on. Um, Sorry, my husband's coming in here. Yeah. You never know what personality you're going to come across when you walk up to a table. And it's the same with real estate. You have to very easily be able to adapt and connect with those people, or you're going to lose them. In a restaurant situation, it might be for an hour and you might, maybe not get as great of a tip or a tip at all, depending on what kind of people they are. But the faster you can connect to them, the faster you can relate to them, and they start to get to know you and you open up, then the more that they're going to tip you, or they're going to come back and ask for you or whatever. And same goes with real estate. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people in real estate that have some sort of service background, because you just have to know how to connect quickly and read people. People are going to want to see 10 houses and you have to be okay with that. And other people are going to walk into the first house and be like, yes, let's go. So, but finding that connection, I think, is one of the biggest things that I've brought from both psychology and the restaurant business into real estate. Is the faster you can make that connection to your client, the better, especially those that you don't know. The ones obviously are easier, but
Yeah, exactly. Now, through your progression in real estate, you created your own brokerage. You and Kristen created your own brokerage. Talk to me a little bit about that transition into creating your own thing.
Yeah, so Kristen actually brought me into real estate. So funny story, my husband got on my Facebook account and there was this Facebook post from Kristen that she needed help. And she was in real estate. And we had already started talking about me going into real estate. But he responded to her post for me. I had no idea that was even happening. And so she responded back. And anyways, long story short, we ended up connecting and hit it off. And she's like, I need help and I want to bring somebody on. And so I got my license and we started at a bigger franchise, company, brokerage, and very quickly decided that we were just, spending too much money. It just wasn't making sense for us. We weren't happy there. And so we went to a boutique, like a smaller brokerage in town. Always knowing that eventually we would probably open up our own because we got along so well. Our business relationship was great. Like we just really connected. And eventually we did that. So loved who we were with in between. She's still in business and she's amazing and love her to death. But she was totally supportive also and said, yeah, go do it. So then we started Simply Real Estate. Oh gosh, I think it was 5 years ago.
Okay.
Roughly, maybe. Time flies. I don't know.
Time flies.
COVID in there and you don't even know what's going on.
So true. So true.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we wanted to just house good agents, teach them good, morals, ethics, and how to do the job right. Because there's so many agents that come into this business and just they're not trained properly. They don't understand forms. They just fill them out to the best of their ability, and it's wow. Like you got to know what you're doing at least a little bit. And so we just wanted to house. We were never very big. I think we had 7, maybe 8 agents under us at one time, and it would fluctuate, So just small and personal, and we tried to keep the focus on family.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had an opportunity to come up and meet a number of your agents, and you have just some amazing folks in your group.
Yeah, they're all very supportive. So
yeah. Now, as I reached out to Kristen and you guys evaluated the opportunity to move your independent brokerage, where you guys are at 100% and getting overrides on everybody,
yep,
into a model with eXp Realty, why would you do that?
A few reasons. Traditionally a brick and mortar is where everybody was. You had to have an office, a physical office, and we did. And but as time went on, and then COVID hit, and that really kicked everybody, but it was already headed that direction, where you don't really need it. Most people are full-time moms working from home, part-time jobs, so they're just working real estate a little bit on the weekends or on and evenings,
Right.
whatever. Just the agents weren't using the office as much as they were. So that was one of our things, is like, why are we paying for a commercial space, a physical commercial space, when literally Kristen and I were the only ones going in there, and we were only in there maybe 1 to 2 days a week. So it's like, what is this? Or to meet clients, which that's the only nice thing. It was a quiet, secluded place to meet clients or have a bigger meeting. But you can do that. There's lots of places to do that other than that. But so that was one thing that we kind of wanted to steer away from. And so, which would, was costing quite a bit of money. Just the whole thing. Also, there's just things with eXp that we could not ever offer: health insurance, equity, stock share, with the rev share, building that team, and then the ability to just get that money back and stuff. And so it just, like, when we looked at the whole big picture of eXp, it just made a lot of sense, but it still allowed us to keep our brand, and that we had worked really hard for, and support our agents still, and be very much a presence, and just not have to worry about all the extra stuff that running a brokerage entails. Insurance is covered, and we don't have to cover that anymore. And but we still get to support and be there as mentors and teachers to those agents that we do choose to bring on with us. So the ones that followed us.
Right. So it sounds like you get to kind of focus in on the things that you love, that you're really good at: the mentoring, the attracting, the connecting with your agents, the helping them. But let go of some of the pieces that aren't as attractive, like the expense of the office, the biggest expense for a broker. The E&O, the insurance, the
auditing, all the things that you have to keep up with. I mean, all that gets done for me, and I can focus on my agents and my business. So it just made sense. Because at first, when you had contacted Kristen, she's like, I know what the answer is already. She's like, I really just think that, maybe we should just listen, because you just never know. And I'm like, fine, I'll listen. No, I mean, there's always, if you don't ever listen, you can't ever learn and grow. So I was like, sure, like, whatever, we'll listen. But, like, we were good. I mean, we're making 100%, but we were also paying for a lot of stuff. So when you break it down, it's, even adding a split back into our picture didn't really affect us. In fact, I would say I'm ahead of where I was before.
Exactly.
And I really haven't fully engaged in everything that eXp has to offer yet. So I'm excited that when that happens.
Right. Well, and just the opportunity, even as your own broker owner, you're limited to your own territory and your own, to Billings. And you really can't grow it out beyond that. And I've seen some of the growth in your team out beyond that, where you've been able to take advantage of some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can go anywhere in Montana, which is great because it's a big state.
Yeah, but, and even across the country.
Yeah, and across the country and in other countries. I mean,
in other countries, exactly.
Sky's the limit. So it's just things that we could never give. I mean, even down to the training, like the training with eXp. I mean, there's the world, which is crazy. And I was like, there's an avatar, like that seems really silly. But I've gone in so many times and just had a question about whatever. Maybe it's about eXp, maybe it's about real estate specific or forms or whatever. And it's just within minutes I have my answer, and I don't have to wait for my broker to call me back, or me being the broker. Like, I don't have to worry about that. I mean, our agents still come to us a lot of the times, but if I don't know the answer, I have just a huge resource to find those answers. And the training that, I mean, there's 80 plus hours of training every single week that
Every single week.
that people plus Freedom Team.
Yeah, and on top of that, daily training with the Freedom Team, but
Yep.
help to get your business set up,
Yep.
get your lead generation engine moving. If you've got folks that you're talking to that you need help with,
Right.
getting all the support there. So,
Which
yeah,
has been huge, and I've tapped into just very little of that so far in the 8 months or so that we've been here. But
yeah.
the little bit that I have, it's just been amazing. I mean, the Freedom Team's been amazing, and you guys have been amazing. So, yeah, I'm excited to see more and more and more as we go on.
Well, it sounds like then not only was it a benefit to your agents to get more service capability, more training capability, enhanced potentially payout and stock and things like that, but also to you guys
Oh
that
yeah.
you benefited financially from the move.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's just all the different ways that you can make money through eXp. I mean, even the mentor program. So I'm mentoring a gal,
Okay.
and even that is really cool because I still get to do what I'm doing, and I still
Yeah.
get compensated a little bit for my time for that. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
just, but I mean, she's been, well, you need to be paid more. And I'm like, no, I don't. But yeah, it's just the whole package. I mean, I've looked at a lot of different models, and we've even set up our own model, and the whole package together, like there just can't compete, so.
Well, and there's got to be, I would imagine, I've not been my own broker owner, but I would imagine that sense of kind of being the one, being the answer place, and now having a whole set of resources beyond that, there's got
Huge.
to be a good feeling to
Yeah,
that.
it's a great feeling because, I mean, not that didn't want the responsibility. I wouldn't have opened a brokerage if I didn't want the responsibility, but
Right.
it's like I don't have to be the end answer. And
Yeah.
if I don't know or I'm not sure, because we all know that in real estate things change really quickly. I feel like every time I fill out a buy sell, there's a new checkbox or that's what something's worded different. And I'm like, hold on, let me read that paragraph again. But
Yeah.
and they don't always tell you about that stuff. So being able to go in somewhere and say, hey, what exactly does this mean? And how should I be explaining this? Or whatever the
Yeah.
question is. I mean, my husband and I, him getting his license, we had a big question about what does that domestic team look like and
Right.
how is that set up and what happens, in the future or whatever. So it's just been like, and I mean, I had answers within 15 minutes of what that looked like and, all the answers to our questions. So
Yeah.
that in itself is just such a huge resource because you don't feel like you're being a nuisance to even just one person because there's all these different, I can call you, I can call Jeff, I can call Kristen, I could get in the world. I mean, there's all these different resources that you can go
Yeah.
to. So that's really cool.
I have found the same thing. Every time I have a question, I can pop in, usually within 2 minutes, I'm in front of my broker or in front of somebody
Yep.
who can either answer it or say, here's exactly where you go. Let me walk you to that room.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just, I worked in corporate for 25 years and you'd schedule a meeting and you'd wait for everyone to show up and you'd spend an hour getting your answer. I can get that same answer here in 2 minutes.
Yeah. I remember the first time I showed my husband, I was like, you got to look at this. Cause we were talking about the metaverse, everything that's going on with
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, it's like the metaverse. Like that's what they're doing. I'm like, this is my office, my virtual office. And
Yeah.
I think Corey Calvert is our, she looks over all our forms. And then
Right.
Lauren in our Montana room or whatever. And I just went in there. I think Lauren was in there and she's like, I'm like, just so you know, I was like, my husband's right here standing next to me. I'm like, but I wanted to show him. And she's like, oh, hi. Like, it's just crazy. So he's like,
It
you're
is.
talking to him right now. I'm like, yeah, like through the computer, like I would talk on the phone to them, but it's an avatar.
It's an incredibly productive environment, I have found.
Totally. And positive environment. Like every time I've gone in there, everybody's been very cheerful. And somebody usually always approaches me and says, hi, Jana, how are you doing today? And the first time I was like, huh?
Yeah, you're looking around. Who's saying that?
Can you see me? Because I'm in my pajamas. No.
Exactly. Exactly. Now you run a really quite a hopping business. You're coming up here at the end of your anniversary, getting real close to being an icon producer. Talk to
Hopefully.
me, talk to me a little bit about your business and how your business is structured, and then talk to me a little bit about the benefit of that icon award.
So most of my business in the past has come from residential. However, I have a builder developer that has done a couple different unique complexes or developments. The first one was called Shop World One. And
Mhm.
it was he originally bought the ground to do residential like he had always done before. And
Okay.
he actually built our first house. That's how I got to know him. And that's how, when I got my license, I just walked right up to him and said, "Hey, I know you probably already have a realtor or two or 10, I don't know, but here's my card. I just got my real estate license. If you ever want to throw something my way, that would be awesome." And he said, "Oh, I think I can probably find you something." Well, him and I just really work well together. I mean, he literally like will call me and be like, "Hey, call this person." And he knows I'm going to get it done right away. And
Right.
he's like, "Can you always answer the phone?" And I'm like, "Do people not?" And he goes, "You'd be surprised." Like, I'm like, "Well, how can you get anything done I mean, unless I'm in the middle of something important, but I try and answer the phone, especially during the day."
Right.
Anyways, he bought roughly 150 acres outside of town, and was going to do residential on the whole thing. And he was going to do acre lots. Well, DEQ said, "Nope, we're only going to approve you for 30 septic systems because it's septic cistern out there." And he needed like 60 plus to make it work. So he got creative and he said, "Well, what do you think about 75 acres, 76 acres full of shop lots?" And no septics, no cisterns. He put 2 community bathrooms out there, but it's 188 lots just for shops. You can't live in them. All you can do is work out of them and store things in them. And I'm
Okay.
like, wow, like, do we really have a need for that many shop lots? We
Right.
sold out of them in a year and a half during COVID.
Wow.
So, and I did
Wow.
all of them, and it was a lot. So, my business shifted a little bit more towards that commercial side, which I am not a commercial agent. I would never try and go sell a gas station, but
Yeah.
these are metal boxes, so they're pretty easy and no bathrooms, I mean, seriously, like, and I work great with him. So, he has since started, bought another piece of ground and
Okay.
it's shop rolled condos. So, these ones they all have to be built first. They're individual lots where the other ones were just selling the lots. So, this one's condos. So, we started, let's see, my listing started in May, I guess right before I came on with you guys. But we just closed on our first 8 about 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
They have to
Awesome.
be built first. So I have been very busy with writing contracts for shops. Very much trying to still focus on residential, which I have been. I can do better. I know I can, especially once I get KV Core up and going. And that's, like we talked about, my next goal is to
Right.
focus on diving in and figuring out how to work that so it benefits me in that aspect. But yeah, I've been really lucky. I mean, my sphere around here to get me started 8.5, 9 years ago. My dad's been here most of his life, and my husband's born and raised here. So I have like a
Okay.
huge sphere, which I was super blessed with, and it just kind of
Right.
has gone from there. So
Right.
iconing would be huge. For one, it would just help me. I mean, it's just a huge honor, and then the way that the icon program is set up, it would be awesome to get, all that stock and all that stuff coming back in my way, for future. I mean, it's just like a piggy bank, just put it
Yeah.
out there and let it grow and see what happens. Because honestly, as a real estate agent and being self-employed, retirement is not necessarily the first thing on our minds, especially when you got kids going 9 different directions. So it's going to be nice to have that.
Right.
Um, yeah. And I mean, just to be able to help others where I can. And as I build, the rev share portion of our business, being able to share that I have Icon and this is what it looks like and this is what you have to do and blah, blah, blah,
Right.
stuff like that. So, hopefully it'll be close. It just depends on if these things get built fast enough, but
Yeah.
I have already capped, and so I have a closing this afternoon, and that one will, count towards one of my ones that I need to be an icon. So hopefully.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, and then at that point, you came from being an independent brokerage at 100%. That
Yep,
will take you actually above 100%, which is
exactly.
kind of
Exactly.
an interesting concept for folks to get their arms around, to be paid basically to be here.
Yes, and it took me actually a while to get my head around that, because I'm like, you can't do that. Like, there's no way that they can do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they can, and they do, and yeah, you work hard, and I don't know, I like to work hard and play hard. So with my kids right now is sports. So
Yeah.
it's amazing to be able to come from 100%, which really, as a broker owner, I mean, even though we got 100%, we really weren't getting 100% because we were still writing checks for everything. So
Right.
it just depended, especially during COVID when maybe production wasn't as high for some of our agents. It was, definitely, I'm making, it's just way better here. Just
Well,
put it that-
you mentioned Katie Core. So
Yep,
Katie Core is a platform anyone can get. You don't have to be an EXP. In
yep,
EXP, you get it. What
yep.
will it do for you? Why are you excited about getting that implemented?
Well, like I said, I need to figure it out. But everything that I've been told is it's like the Cadillac of CRMs. Right now, I have one that I haven't shut down completely yet because I wanted it trickling in the back until I knew I could get a handle on KB Core.
Right.
Um, but it just integrates so many things, like the leads that come in. I think I've put like 2 people into KB Core just manually messing around with it. And I've gotten a few leads off of that. Nothing that's produced anything, but I'm like, hold on a second, where's that coming from and why am I getting that? And literally have not done anything with it.
Right.
So it will be super exciting to see what that brings. The
Right.
website that is integrated with it and being able to, do all those things, and I don't know. I'm super excited to just learn about it. And I'm glad I'm finally to the point and settled down a little bit enough in my life that I can actually take, even if it's just an hour a day and just
Yeah.
digging into it and figuring out. It's very overwhelming, I'm not going to lie, because it has so many capabilities. And you're like, well, I wanted to do all the things all at one time. But if I can just get it going, and I really think it'll be a powerful tool in my business long term.
Well, and on our Freedom team, that Wednesday morning training that we have is
Yep.
really dedicated to KB Core and lead generation and
Yep. Yep.
growing your business that way. So that'll help. So
I'm going to remind myself of that. I'm pretty nervous.
exactly. Put that one on your calendar.
Yep.
Always the same number, so that makes that easy.
I always remember, write things down. I'm like, oh, I should do that one every week. And then, I forget. So I'm going to write that down and put it on my calendar.
Exactly. Then the week goes by.
Yeah.
Jana, it has been such a treat to talk to you today. Is there anything else that you want to share with everybody?
I know switching brokerages is super scary and to a lot of people, and everybody gets comfortable, but it was one of the best decisions that my business partner and I have made since we've started real estate. And we've done a little bit of all the things. And so, I would highly recommend everybody to just take a look. Whether you want to now, later, or never, that's fine. But just take a look and,
Right.
see if it fits into what your big plan is, I guess is what I would say. So I'm thankful for finding eXp, and I'm excited for where it's going to take my business and where the business is going to go as a whole. It's
Right.
cool.
And excited for Josh to join in too.
Yes, yes. My husband is getting his license here, hopefully in the next couple months, and is going to very much help me in a lot of aspects of real estate. But he's gonna do his side of things. So
Exactly. It'll be an amazing partnership. Having met both of you,
yeah,
it'll be an amazing partnership.
it should be good. I'm excited, and once he really engages too, we'll see where it goes, because he's definitely good at that side.
He's good there.
At the
No
recruitment
question.
side, yep. So
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today. And it's just a pleasure to know you and a pleasure to work with you.
likewise, Kelly, thank you so much for all your support and introducing us to this awesome opportunity. So
You are welcome. You take care.
you too. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.